Good. Phil and Will are back. We had to make sure that actually made it on the on air this time because we're sick and tired of it getting cut off. So hopefully it's on there tonight. Episode 9 of Survivor is in the books. Kelly Wigglesworth is long gone, and I have my first major complaint of Survivor Second Chances.
What? Your first major complaint? We've had a number of
No.
This is big.
I've loved this season. I've thought this has been a great season. They overdid Abby at the beginning of the season, but then they backed off on her, so I had no problem with it. I forgave it. My biggest problem tonight is, since when did Kelly Wigglesworth have a chance to win this game? We've been talking about her the entire season as if everyone hated her, as if she was miserable, as if she had no shot. And tonight they lay it on us that she was actually a threat to win and people were voting her out for that reason. If that's the case, you can't just throw it all on us right now. Kimmy got about a 4-second confessional tonight, and she got about a 2-second one last week. You could have given Kelly Wigglesworth 2-second confessionals throughout this entire season and had people talk about her as a threat to win the game. And this would have been such a more powerful boot than it was, because this was a great blindside. I'm happy it was Wigglesworth who went, but I would have liked to have seen more of the reasoning that they showed tonight.
Hey, I'm with you, man. I think there's two problems with this. I mean, yeah, it sucks we didn't get to see a lot of her, but on the other hand, we have so many great characters. That's why we didn't see a lot of her. She doesn't provide that much entertainment. She's not that interesting. And maybe she was, like they were saying, she's a big threat because she had a great social game and was talking one-on-one to everybody. But that's not what we really want to see as TV viewers, Kelly going up to people. And look, I hear what you're saying completely. Like, we should have gotten more of her. Like, she went, 5 or 6 straight episodes without a confessional. I totally hear that.
Episode 2. I mean, that's insane.
Right, no, it is. But I'm just playing the other side here, that watching Kelly Wigglesworth go up and have a one-on-one conversation with Jeremy or Tasha or Abby, it probably isn't that exciting, and maybe they're just talking, oh, how's home life? Like, in this season has been very heavy strategy. And I hear what you're saying. The only hint that we did get from this, or that you could have gotten from this, that she was a threat, was in a secret scene from Steven, who listed everybody saying, I can't, he listed people saying either he can get to the end with them and beat them, or he can get to the end and lose to them, or people that are going to screw up his game. You listed it through everybody. Abby and Sarah, they're going to screw up my game. Savage and Wigglesworth, they can crush me in the end. And I was like, whoa, Kelly Wigglesworth is going to crush you in the end, Steven? So I guess I kind of knew she was a little bit of a threat, so I was kind of numb to it already, that she was actually playing kind of a good game.
See, now let me ask you this, though. I know you were saying her talking one-on-one with Jeremy probably wouldn't be that interesting. Was her talking one-on-one with Joe tonight that detrimental to the episode? Why couldn't we have seen little moments like that throughout the entire season? It was nothing big. It still wasn't giving her a lot of screen time, but it was something. It showed a relationship.
But it was her boot episode, and that's the only reason we got it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it wasn't detrimental to the episode, so why couldn't we have gotten little things like that throughout the season? Just her talking to Spencer, being relevant. I mean, it seemed like she was relevant in this game, and we just never got it. Kimmy got a 2-second confessional tonight. That's all I'm saying. Why couldn't they have done that Wigglesworth 1 or 2 episodes throughout this season instead of having her be completely invisible? It just makes this such a waste of a big blindside.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm mostly in agreement with you. It's just we can't be getting, a Wigglesworth confessional. I see why she didn't get that much airtime. You can tell why. Yeah, there's also absolutely. Probably this has something to do with it. She was very kind of coy and kind of reluctant to give out answers at Tribal Council. At least that's what people are saying in their exit interviews. Supposedly Jeff yelled at her in the premiere saying answer me, Kelly. So if Jeff has any, kind of disdain towards Kelly Wigglesworth, the best way to, I guess actualize that is to give her a week edit. And we see production do this with characters that quit or characters that they don't like. So in all, she's not that entertaining. She ticked off production. It's not that surprising we didn't see more of her.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is the only reason I'm complaining is because tonight it was so focused on her having a chance to win the game. I'm mad that we didn't get to see more of that. Took till episode 9. She finishes in the top, or almost in the top half of the season. she's the third boot after the merge, third member of our jury, and we got like nothing, like absolutely nothing. So that's my big complaint. Otherwise, another really entertaining episode, I thought. Some weird thing, but another really this season's on fire. And the longer Kelly Wentworth and Sierra can stay in this game, the better this season's going to be. That's just my opinion right now.
And the stuff we got from Abby is actually pretty good. Like her telling Joe she needs to take a dump in that specific tree he's looking for an idol, which is just completely bullshit. I mean, that's great. Stuff like that. Like you said, they overdid it with Abby early on. And now I just what we're getting from Abby is perfect. She didn't make it in the reward challenge because she didn't get selected. All that stuff was great. She had a good outing at the immunity challenge. We're just getting started here. So comment on our last video, our episode 9 prediction video. That link is in the description, or tweet at us. We're going to get all the comments going here once we recap the episode. Steven had a just massive episode tonight. Survivor Sucks said 10 confessionals, and that's a prop bet, and I had him in, so I'm really excited about that. We'll definitely talk more about Steven. Jeremy finds an idol. What do you want to start with here first? Lately, since the merge episodes, we don't really go in order as much. We kind of bounce around. I know one person was kind of mad we didn't talk about the reward challenge all that much last episode, so we'll talk about everything, but it might be out of order.
Yeah, it's going to be out of order, and I guess we could start with the reward right away. I mean, that was a terrible like performance by the team with Jeremy. I don't understand why they thought that was so hard. The other team runs away with it, and really because of that challenge, I don't really want to talk about that challenge because it was so bad. The best moment was Abby not getting picked, but because that was so bad, you look forward to like what happens afterwards. And I thought once again, this is Sierra playing the game so well, just being like, can we talk strategy? And she went on the reward with the most perfect people you can go on the reward with Steven and Spencer. Those are the two most perfect people you can go on a reward with because they are going to strategize until this game is over. Until they are voted out, they will strategize nonstop. So I thought that was great. Sierra, again, just playing great after the merge.
See, I think there's something interesting about this reward challenge. The staircase part, that is a pretty unique puzzle. I kind of like it. It's not just line up from biggest to tallest to shortest. That's interesting that the holes were deeper. I thought that was really cool. They had this huge maze. I mean, this was a big challenge. And I know we talked about this earlier. We said no way did they decide to merge early mid-season. They had to have challenges planned. This felt like a tribe-on-tribe immunity challenge, or at least it was set up that way. Like it was a huge, massive challenge just for a reward. Did you catch that?
Yeah, but here's my question to you. Do you think that had more to do with Terry being eliminated early? Because they probably didn't have a double boot planned until after the merge. So maybe they were planning on using this challenge after they merged back to two tribes, but Terry leaving early caused one of the pre-merge challenges to get pushed back, which was probably this one.
But they didn't skip anything when Terry left. They went to a tribe swap.
No, they did, though, because the tribe swap happened the next day at 14. Terry wouldn't have gone that night. Then if they did the tribe swap, it would have been at 15, or they would have had to wait 2 days, done another cycle with another challenge of immunity, and then gone and switched up the tribes at 14.
But this is our third merge episode. I mean, this is the second reward challenge we've had at the merge.
They have to move them around.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, in either way, I don't think this was rigged in any way, but this reward challenge felt and looked like it should be an immunity challenge because there was
big time.
a lot of elements. Like there was, physical, a puzzle in the beginning, puzzle at the end. So it felt that kind of epicness, the size and everything. Not much on the reward. I mean, of course, Sierra is going to talk. I love how she is so blunt about it. Like, look, we're on a reward challenge. We're on a reward right now. I'm going to say, let's strategize. I mean, she's not going to hide it. And I thought that was, and I don't know if that's the best thing to do, but at least she's owning it. You
know what, though? At her moment right now, her and Wentworth are navigating this perfectly. And you even have to give Abby some credit here. I mean, they are navigating this perfectly. They've gotten through 2 big votes here. And I know that Wentworth playing her idol was huge last week to getting them through this vote. But the fact that one of them didn't go home tonight, they are navigating this so well. Whatever Sierra is doing, being as blunt as she is, it's working. So just keep doing what you're doing because it's working.
See, I thought this was more Steven than it was them. Because these 3 girls, they've been saying this now. I mean, how many tribals in a row has Sierra said play the game? She said it at the cast boot. She said it at the Kelly one, or the Kelly Idol play. So I think this is pretty much, par for the course with these three. They're always going to be like this. What really happened was Steven. And I don't think Steven really was affected by the three girls. I think he saw them and said, look, they're trying to get out from the bottom. That's exactly who I need to talk to pull a big move, to take out a threat. And I know you and I didn't think Kelly Wigglesworth was that big of a threat, but clearly she was. I mean, even Tasha was the one who kind of said, I don't think maybe she wouldn't beat me. But everyone was saying she had a great social game. So I definitely give credit mainly to Steven here on saving these girls. And I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong per se, but I don't say, wow, they're navigating this beautifully. It's like they're on the bottom. They're doing everything they can.
Here's my whole problem with that. I think Steven, MVP of this episode tonight, I thought he was fantastic. I know Jeremy found the idol and everything, but we'll get into that a little bit too. That was kind of weird.
They're both on my team, right?
Yeah, and I'm thinking just from prolonging your game and actually strategizing, Steven did everything really well tonight. I do think he saved these girls, but I think Sierra being so open about Steven, let's do this, Steven, and constantly nagging, I think that helps. Steven is a neurotic dude, man. He wants people to come to him.
I disagree, man. I 100% disagree. I can give you this. Okay, before the merge even happened, he was trying to make a big move, and he was talking about it. He's like, we have to make this move. This game is about big moves. I want to take the threats out. Like, he's been this has been like his MO for like 5 episodes now. And I know Sierra's been saying it, but it's not like Sierra convinced Steven to make this move. Steven came up to them and said,
by constantly being naggy and open about it, that's helping. That's helping to move the call. I give full credit to Steven. I give 90% credit to Steven, but I think the way Sierra is playing this is playing into Steven's hands as well.
See, this is what I'll say. If Sierra wasn't kind of saying this every tribal, play the game, make a big move, all this stuff, and those three were just sitting in the shelter on the bottom, I think Steven still goes up to them and says that with no nagging at all. I think the same thing happens. Steven has been talking about big moves like for 5 episodes. It's what he wants to do. He's a huge strategist. Do you see what I'm saying though? Like
I completely see what you're saying. But I think Sierra and Kelly being so open, and now just hear me out on this little thing. I think them being so open made Steven feel comfortable enough that he could jump out of this huge alliance, join up with them, and almost give up his numbers. If they weren't going to be so open, he might have been worried to go and talk to them just because they could turn it around and say, hey, Steven's trying to get rid of you. I think that they made it very clear that they weren't going to do that to him. And I think that's why he felt more comfortable going to them.
Yeah, but that doesn't have anything to do about the constant nagging. Steven and Sierra were talking last episode. They definitely have a kind of a working relationship that was already existing. So I hear what you're saying. I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong, Sierra and Kelly, but this was Steven really. This was his move. And yeah, those 3 girls had to be on board, but of course they're going to be on board. They're on the bottom. Of course they're going to be open to ideas. You heard Sierra said it, like, you tell us who you want gone. Like, we have 3 votes. That's what every person on the bottom will say, whether they're Sierra, Kelly, Abby, or not. That could be 3 different people. So that's why I'm giving pretty much 100% to Steven. And maybe if you're going to do 90% to Steven, you got to give Spencer and Jeremy some credit for, hopping on board with it.
I think that's Steven convincing them. I think Steven did a hell of a job convincing them, though, and really explaining it to them. Now, let me ask you this. Going further in the game, do you think this is a good move? Because they just ostracized 4 people on that vote. I mean, they left out 4 people who are still left in the game, and those could be 4 very dangerous people now for them. I mean, it's Keith, Tasha, Kimmy, who Kimmy seemed really tight with Jeremy and Steven, so she has to feel somewhat betrayed. And who's the 4th one? I'm forgetting who it is. Joe. Those are your 4. I mean, they were on the outside of this. And you only have, like Steven was preaching tonight, voting blocks, not alliances. Is this block of Jeremy, Steven, and Spencer just a block of 3? Because there still could be a block of 4 out there that they just left out of that vote and blindsided.
Yeah, this one is really tough to be able to say this is a good move or not. Because what if Kelly was as big as a threat as everyone built her up to be? And if that's the case, then yeah, that probably is a good move. Because let's say you take out Sierra, Kelly, and Abby. Then who's left in your alliance? Like, you have Kelly Wigglesworth, who's all of a sudden a huge threat. You have Tasha, who's a big threat. You have Joe, who's a big threat. Spencer and Jeremy are there. So if you're Steven, like getting this done, I mean, for Steven, it's definitely a good move. I don't know if it's as good of a move for Spencer and Jeremy. But again, it all depends on really how big of a threat Kelly Wigglesworth was. We just don't really know because we didn't see her.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. And I'm not saying that I wanted to see a lot of Kelly Wigglesworth because I agree she's boring. I mean, she just is. But we could have seen a little bit more just to at least build this up because this would have been a great blindside had they built her up a little bit more. It still was a very good blindside, but it could have been a great one had they built her up a little bit more. And it's like, wow, Wigglesworth did have a chance to win this game. Now she's gone. Like, that would have been crazy.
Yeah. No, I hear you, man. I wish it was like that too because heading into this tribal council, I mean, what do you think? They didn't blindside me. Again, these blindsides, like the Monica one, like you knew it was Monica. The Wu one, you knew it was Wu. I mean, if you're following the edit here, if it was between Sierra and Kelly Wigglesworth tonight, then I'm like, okay, I'm on the edge of my seat because go home, I think, at any point right now. And Kelly Wigglesworth, obviously, she'd go home whenever because she just doesn't add anything. We're seeing her talk for the first time in 6 episodes. But because it was between Kelly Wentworth and Kelly Wigglesworth, Kelly Wentworth was not going home tonight. You just didn't get that this was Kelly Wentworth's boot episode. She has more story left, and you can like kind of just feel that.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that it would have been more shocking if Wentworth goes home, which is crazy because going into it, you should have been thinking she was going home. The numbers were completely stacked against her, and I would have been more shocked to see somebody with all the numbers stacked against them go home than Kelly Wigglesworth, who's
exactly.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I was not shocked at all. I mean, the edit did do a good job. I mean, this episode, not of building up Kelly Wigglesworth throughout, but this episode, Jeremy and Spencer didn't seem like on board. They didn't seem really against it. They did a good job of showing that they were in the middle. And this was kind of a big decision for them. And it was kind of like, which Kelly they're going to, send home. So at least from that aspect, it was edited well.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe we should get into the idol hunts because, I mean, that was pretty intense before we get into the immunity challenge and everything. Why don't we do the idol hunts? I mean, everybody looking for it, like you said already, Abby Maria, that was really funny with, I got to take a shit. Like that's just like typical Abby Maria. Just
like you're in an entire jungle. You need to pick this one area.
Yeah, exactly.
Just give me 10 minutes.
That's a good move. That's a good move on Abby Maria's part. She's playing the game. Like, that's awesome.
MVP right there.
Right, get out of here. But that was still a good move. If Steven and Jeremy weren't in this episode, she'd probably be MVP just for having to take a poop or a pee, whatever the hell it was. But no, the idol hunt I thought was really good. It was good to see Jeremy just kind of hunting for it, being like, I just want to make sure I have 2. What did you think, though, of after he found it?
Which part? Like him like crying and saying this is Val's idol and all that
after
stuff?
He found
or that it wasn't going to be at a challenge and that it was going to be like in some lantern place?
2 if by land, 1 if by sea, or whatever the hell. Like that was weird. Like, what did you think of this?
This makes no sense. I mean, it just this screams to me that something went up with the merge at 13. Because this reward challenge felt like an immunity challenge. They clearly didn't have anywhere to hide this darn idol for this challenge. I mean, that's what happened. They're like, okay, darn, someone found the clue this one time where we have no place to put it. I said in the prediction episode that it would make a lot of sense if you have to jump off to get the advantage and then pull it out from under your buoy. That could have worked out, but they didn't choose to use that. I hope we see more idols at challenges. I hope they don't mean this is over. But because they had already put idols at challenges, they couldn't just have one in a tree. So they're like, here's a clue. It's going to be, just a few hundred feet that way. Like,
it's a shame. It would have been so much better if they just buried it right underneath the shelter and said, okay, when all your tribe members are asleep, it's there. Like, if they buried it like after a challenge or something, so it was nighttime when he had to find it, and they were like, everybody's going to be asleep and it'll be under there. That would have been cool because that still would have kept the pressure on him. Like, they all get back from tribal or they all get back from the reward and it's like, he just found this clue. It's like, crap. Of course they don't go back to bed. What if somehow they had hidden that there underneath and said, Jeremy, it's going to be right here, but you have to find it right underneath your shelter tonight. That would have been way more intense. I felt like this was not an intense moment. He had already found the idol. Just give him the idol at that point. It's not that hard to walk down a dark path.
Right. They were like trying to make a challenge out of it because they didn't have one. They didn't have a place to hide it. So what you said would have been great. Put it somewhere in a communal place where there's a chance of you getting caught. That's the whole idea with hiding them at challenges, that you have to do it while other people are around. And that it was suspenseful, especially in the premiere with Kelly. I mean, that was awesome. And then Jeremy finding his, he just kind of was like, screw it. I'm just going to get on my knees and find it. Like, no, but no one knows about it. So both times it was good. I'm hoping this isn't the end, though. Like, there are going to be more idols at challenges, or maybe not. I mean, Jeremy's got 2 of them. You can't put more idols in the game unless these 2 get played.
Yeah, because they don't overpower.
You got to think Jeremy is what's that?
Jeremy's already overpowered. If he finds the 3rd one, you're completely screwed because now you've got a guy who's got 3 immunity idols. It's just too much.
No, right. They're not going to hide a 3rd one. These are these 2, and then if it gets played, one of them gets played, one of them will be hidden, and no one knows he has them, which is great. Jeremy is now back to my winner. Spencer took the top place for like a week, and now Jeremy is back on Jeremy's my top winner thing.
Yeah, crying nonstop.
Talking about his family, all that. The only reason I really took Jeremy off was because he said it's always smart to split the votes, and then they split the votes, and it was shown as them trying to get. This was on this was the merge episode. Jeremy said it's always smart to split the votes, and then Cass and Abby and Sierra and Wentworth try to get Spencer over to vote out Tasha, and I was like, well, that's not showing Jeremy in the best light here because they're seeing right through that. But the very next episode, they don't split the votes, and it bites them in the ass. So that quote actually makes more sense now if he does become the winner, that he said always had to split the votes. They don't, and it hurts them. So Jeremy, he was my original winner's pick preseason, and he's back on top, at least for now.
Yeah, and with the 2 idols, I mean, it's really hard to argue with right now because even if that group of 4 that they left out tonight ends up saying, screw it, let's vote out Jeremy, he's got 2 idols, and he's going to know it's coming. I mean, he's got like a hell of like a feel for it right now. Like, he's just in this game completely feeling it. And I think Jeremy will be able to feel it out. And I think we're going to get a lot more blindsides coming down the stretch here. Next week, you might get a Kelly Wentworth or a Sierra going in that first episode. But that next episode after that, because I think it's still going to be a double episode. They didn't play it up on the preview, but everybody keeps saying there's a 2-hour slot tucked away for it. If there's that second episode next week, I think you're going to get a big blindside there. I really do. I don't think that this game's done with blindsides yet. There's still so much going on.
Oh, no, not at all. And especially, we got to shove down our throat tonight this voting block idea that, you're going to vote with different people each week. And the trust you build can, even if you don't vote with someone, you can still build a relationship and trust. And that, we don't see that very often. It is interesting, and I know that's why they keep talking about it. But at this point, we get it, right? Like, we've seen it talked about, and it's like the white collar, blue collar, no collar. Like, okay, yeah, we get there are different collars. We get that people aren't having set alliances anymore, or at least, in a couple episodes this season. Except 9 people voted together last week. I guess this was the first big week for it, so that's why they played it up so heavily. But yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. It's much more fun to talk about, much more fun to watch when you have people just pretty much. Not that they don't trust people. They're like, look, they understand everyone's playing their own game and playing hard, and that's what's resulting in these like voting blocks. They know, look, you got to do what you got to do this week. Maybe we can work together next week.
I mean, yeah. Here's what I think you really got to think about here. And Kimmy and Keith, they're in the game, but they're not really in the game. I mean, they're kind of just going wherever the wind blows. But everybody else, I mean, Sierra, Tasha, even Abby Maria, Joe, Kelly Wentworth, Jeremy, Spencer, Steven. They are all playing like so hard right now. It's insane. And who knows, Kimmy and Keith might be playing really hard like Wigglesworth seemed to be. We just aren't seeing it. So, I mean, everybody else is playing so hard and they're so willing to do whatever it takes to get to the end. I mean, tonight, Jeremy voted out somebody who was going to vote with him for a while. Yeah, I know that Wigglesworth had a chance to win after watching tonight's episode. But it seems like they voted out somebody who was clearly in their alliance and wasn't a threat to flip on them. So I'm really, really, I'm loving this. I'm loving that this is just going to keep flip-flopping the entire time. I really do. This feels like a bone to me. That's really what it feels like.
Yeah, and you know how much I love Gabon.
Yeah.
I mean, crazy season, great cast. Let's talk about this move from Spencer and Jeremy's perspective. I've already said, I think from Steven's perspective, this was a great move. Just because he wasn't really, I don't think he was as close with like Joe, obviously. I mean, Joe knows that Steven was gunning for him, so he didn't really feel that close with Joe. And Kelly is so close with Joe all of a sudden, or at least we find that out tonight. But is this a good move for Spencer and Jeremy?
I think it's a good move for Spencer just because he was always on the lower end of the numbers, I feel like he was always the outcast a little bit. I feel like it's a bad move for Jeremy, even though I agree with you that he probably steps up into the winner's edit role this week. I just feel like this is a worse move for him because he's betraying people who were really loyal to him. And Kimmy and him seem to have been really tight since that second swap, first swap, whichever one it was. There's been so many. I mean, I think him and Keith were pretty tight. Him and Tasha were pretty tight, and he left all of them out there in the cold. And Jeremy and Joe, I think Jeremy, like, you might lose your shield here because Joe's got to feel a little betrayed by this, especially if Joe and Wigglesworth were as tight as they said they were. I don't think it hurts Spencer as much as Jeremy. I think it's the best move for Steven, then Spencer, and then Jeremy.
Is there any way, trying to think, is there any way that Jeremy can like get away with saying like he wasn't in on this? Because one of the votes wasn't read. Spencer's vote wasn't shown.
Yeah, but there were 6 votes for Kelly Wigglesworth, so anybody in the prop bet game who had her with 5 votes or less, that's wrong. There were 6 votes.
Right. No, we count the votes,
yeah, I'm just
obviously.
Saying. I just wanted to throw that out there. But yeah, they did. I don't know. Because the way that Survivor's always been done, and these people really pay attention. Now everybody left in the game. Kelly Wigglesworth doesn't seem like she's watched an episode since her season. But everybody left in the game right now, they pay attention. And they all know if it's going to be really close, Jeff's going to read all the votes. So if there was going to be a 4th vote in there or a 3rd vote for Wentworth, he would have read that 3rd vote for Wentworth.
Right. That's true. So yeah, Jeremy. I mean, I didn't think Jeremy would come back and say, "Whoa, I don't know." I don't know. I don't think this is a good move for Jeremy. But like I kind of just said, I think after this episode, he actually goes. You know, it looks even better for him to become the winner. So it'll be interesting how things play out. And I'm not saying it totally is bad. This could work out very well for Jeremy if he has Steven, he has Spencer. 2 huge threats that are allies. Like he has his shields. Joe is still in the game. He can kind of navigate within that. And plus, if you're gonna maybe this voting block was just not really. Maybe the whole voting block thing doesn't even exist, and now it's 6 against 4, and this alliance of 6 votes together next week.
That would be exactly. That's something that could definitely happen. But this is why I give Steven the edge for MVP this week, just because I think that this whole move benefits him so much more. And on top of that, if you want to jump to the immunity challenge now, Steven jumping off to go get that advantage, crazy. And the only reason he beat Spencer is because Spencer had a shirt on. If Spencer didn't have a shirt on, Spencer beats him in that swimming race. But that drag slowed him down so much. Steven gets there first. I mean, that's a ballsy move. I can't believe only the 2 of them jumped.
Yeah, well, I think one person jumps, it's like, oh, well, I can't get it anymore.
Yeah,
that's it. So it's like you have to either jump instantly or you have to just kind of, all right, it's too late. Like it literally blows by you like that. This was awesome from Steven for someone who's just shown to be so unathletic, terrible at challenges. For him to beat Spencer, and not that Spencer is some beast, but Spencer has been kind of built up as a strong physical player. It's awesome to see. This is how the advantage should be done, and I'm so glad they changed this. I mean, to have someone the advantage at the auction where people just say, okay, I'm going to save all my money, and we're all going to bid $500 at once, and you have 4 people, 3 people, and then you draw rocks. Like that is just complete luck. There's no skill. There's no strategy. This is how it should be done because this was awesome.
This was fantastic. And I thought this really played well because then Spencer goes and sits there just like in Cagayan without any advantage in his hand. But this time he had to earn it. That time he just had to beat Tony in the rock thing, like we said. This was a great moment. I thought this was awesome. I'm glad Steven got it because he can stir it up a little bit more, even though I think Spencer's a little more safe than Steven. I keep saying this every week. I think Steven's in a little more trouble. I always think Steven's going to go home. I'm always worried for Steven. What did you think, though, of the advantage? I'll let you say this first. What did you actually think of the advantage?
I think it's a little too powerful for what he needed to do to get it. It's not like it's hidden somewhere and maybe someone finds it, maybe someone does it. Someone was going to end up with this 100%. And we saw the extra vote last season, and of course it backfired. And honestly, them turning it into a vote steal might be a result of how it played out with Dan. Like, they need to make it more powerful. I don't think that's the case. I just think Dan is kind of an idiot, and he got, kind of unlucky with the whole idol thing. An extra vote can be very strong. I think this is a little overpowered.
I think it's a little overpowered. I'd put this somewhere between the extra vote and the Tyler Perry idol, as it's been so lovingly called, the superpowered idol. I think that it's not the most powerful thing you can have in the game because that other idol is just unfair. But I actually really think this is interesting, and I'm curious to see how this is going to play out. I think it's a little too powerful, but I'm really interested to see, especially with it in the hands of a great player like Steven, I'm really interested to see if he can figure out the right time to play this, if he can figure out the right vote to steal and use it.
Yeah, no, it's going to be cool. I'm excited to see, look, you can't vote. I'm taking your vote. That is going to be awesome. People don't know what it is. And that also might be why it's a little overpowering, too. People can't defend this because they don't even know it's a possibility. If it had been simply an extra vote, that would be much better because we've seen that already. People know it exists, or maybe something like a vote negator, like you don't get to vote. But this is almost like you're voting 3 times because you have your normal vote. You're taking away someone's vote, preventing them from voting, and then you're voting. So it's almost like 3 times the power. And I know it's not 3 votes. It's only really a 2-vote difference. But if you look at it in that way, it is pretty darn powerful. This should be fun. This should be a lot of fun. I'm really glad that Steven ended up getting it.
Yeah, I think this is going to be used really well. I'm glad it didn't have to get played tonight and Wigglesworth still went. I'm really, really excited for this. I really am. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I'm really excited to see how it works out. And I'm glad it's in capable hands of Steven.
Sure. Is there anything else you want to talk about we're almost done here. Comments that's our favorite part. We like to get to them because I think we have a lot. Anything else left in the episode? Tribal wasn't anything different. We kind of covered it. They're talking about these voting blocks, they're shoving it down our throat. Pre-Tribal, it was just pretty much Spencer and Jeremy deciding, maybe we should get rid of Kelly Wigglesworth.
Yeah, it wasn't anything too crazy. The Tribal Council with the thunderstorm, that seems like it was one of the worst storms they've had on this show. It was pretty intense. Savage and Cass are killing me. It's almost a little disappointing for the Ponderosa now that Wigglesworth went because it's not going to be nearly as entertaining as if somebody like Abby Maria or something went this week. Even if Sierra or Kelly Wentworth, Savage and Cass are they made me laugh. I don't know what it is about them, but I think it's funny. I don't know. Just the arrogance of both of them is fantastic.
Yeah, they're best buds over there. That's a lot of fun. So you want to start off with Twitter here?
Yeah, let's start off with Twitter. We'll start with Ann Curtis. With Steven and Sierra now getting all the airtime, could either of them be going to the end? I could see either of them going to the end. And once again, Steven could definitely win this game 100%. Sierra, I still say, especially with how strong her edit has come on, I still say she can win just because of the history of All-Star seasons. They overshadow the smaller female players, and all of a sudden they start picking up, and they gain heat towards the end and they win. I could still see her winning. She's a huge long shot, but I still think she could. She didn't get that much screen time tonight. It was Jeremy and Steven who got all of the screen time. So I don't know about all the screen time, but either of them could win.
Steven is way more in the hunt than Sierra. I almost count real Sierra out at this point. I said this earlier. When you have a winner like Monica or Amber, yeah, you're going to hide them a little bit earlier. Sierra's never been that player to be kind of under the radar. She's always been a loud, strategic. She'll do it, whatever she wants. She'll say whatever she wants. The only, I guess, argument against that is that she didn't really have to go to Tribal that much early. So that could be why we didn't see much of her.
That's my whole belief.
I still don't think
because I think she only went to Tribal, twice or once before?
Once.
So she only went to Tribal once.
I think.
And she got confessionals in 3 pre-merge episodes or 4 pre-merge. She was right up there with Cass in terms of confessionals. We just weren't hearing as much from Sierra because she is more strategic. And if you're not ever going to have to make strategic moves on your tribe, and most of those players are going to get voted out earlier, maybe that's why they didn't show as much of her.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Steven, though, I want Steven to win so badly. It would be the best. It would be the best Survivor win ever. I would love it so much. Doesn't look like it's going to happen though, because Jeremy really, unless they're setting him up for like a James Boone, a bald African American man who's physically fit with 2 idols whose name starts with J. Hey, we've seen it happen before.
Very possible. Very possible. I think Jeremy's a little more strategic than James. And Curtis.
Just a little bit.
How did Jeremy know all the idols? How did Jeremy know all the different this season? Because he's seen every one of them, and he knows they all look different. He didn't know that beforehand. He just saw it as he picked up the third one, didn't look like his other one, and he saw Kelly Wentworth. He's the only one who knows what they all look like.
Exactly. Yeah.
Ash, will Jeremy even need to use both his idols to make it to the end? Will he get too comfortable now that he has 2? I don't think he's going to have to use them both, but I do think that he could get too comfortable and get blindsided. At some point, not anytime soon. But.
That would be fun. No. It could happen next week. Jeremy could get blindsided with 2 idols. This is a crazy season. Anything can happen. It'd be fun if he didn't have to use both his idols or he didn't have to use any of them. As Boston Rob said, the most important thing about having idols is that other people don't. Like Jeremy knows for sure that there are no other idols in this game. I guess maybe there could be one at the Angkor Beach. That would be the only one floating around, so he's not totally safe. But having 2 of them in your possession, you got to be pretty sure, all right, no one else has one.
Well, and the big thing here is there's only 2 people left from that Angkor Beach, and it's Tasha and Abby Maria. So you don't really have to be worrying too much that Abby Maria had it. And maybe Tasha has it, but with Savage going, he might have had it. So he really only has to worry about Tasha having one at this point. And he can probably read Tasha pretty well. Tasha doesn't really hide her emotions very much or hide things too much. So I don't know. I think Jeremy's pretty confident he's the only one with idols right now.
And Tasha is really slipping.
Yeah, what is going on, man? It's weird. She had such a strong edit at the beginning.
So strong. Now it's like, she's just another Keith and Kimmy.
Yeah. Ash, 2 episodes in a row, they show Joe having a connection with a player, and then they are voted out. Is this a bad sign for Joe? There's not too many good signs for Joe.
No. He's got to win all the immunities. And I know there's a comment on YouTube. I'll just address it now. Savage said it. Something happens. It's the first time it's ever happened in Survivor history. I said last week that it might be a tie at the final 3, but someone commented saying maybe it's that someone wins all the immunities. Like that could be it too.
That could totally be it. Because not for nothing. Wigglesworth going home, she was one of the last 4 in this challenge. She's a pretty strong female competitor. She easily could win some challenges. They're starting to run out of people who can win challenges. Jeremy.
I don't know. We have Keith, Jeremy, Spencer, Tasha. I would not say that at all.
No. But it's dwindling down. Every week a challenge threat goes home, and Jeremy plays to me a lot like a Tony, where he doesn't win the challenges. He doesn't win. Like he really doesn't. He's not that good at challenges. He lost to Terry and Savage in that one. He doesn't really ever make it that far in these immunity challenges.
Yeah, but they change. Every single immunity challenge so far has been like a balancing endurance thing. They change. They're not all going to be like this. Let's keep moving here through the comments, though.
Jimmy O'Connor, what an episode. Stevens becoming the narrator of this show. I definitely believe he will be a huge player late game. I think they're setting it up perfectly for it right now. Mel, Joe wins immunity again, and I found out I got 100% on my med school exam. Life is good. Congratulations on your med school exam.
All right.
And congratulations to Joe. Now, Mel, did Ash also get 100% on her med school exam?
Yeah, I was going to say, did you guys have twin telepathy?
There you go. She was cheating off of Ash without having to even look over.
It's still in the head.
And then in the next one from Mel, this is totally everything changing. This just has to be read because this is just so much different than the past. My roommate has started watching these podcasts, and I think she might have a crush on Will. This is so much different than the beginning. It was all on me, and now it's all on you. This is weird. We're just heartthrobs.
Man, yeah, Phil got all the love early. But yeah, good to hear, I guess.
I started coming off as creepy, like my normal self. I'm going to go to Esco, who always DMs. I don't know why he doesn't like to have his things read, but why wouldn't they target Spencer over Wigglesworth besides the fact they needed his vote to blindside? I think that's the whole reason they don't. I think Spencer Fischbach and Steven are pretty tight. Jeremy and Steven are pretty tight. That's what I meant.
Yeah, wait, was Spencer on that reward? Did he go on reward?
Let me see. I don't remember. Hang on.
I think he did.
Yeah, he did. He did go on the reward, yeah.
Okay, so that might have saved him too, because that's when they started tossing out names, and you can't toss out a name who's sitting there. It has to be someone at the beach. So maybe if Spencer's on the beach, they say, hey, let's take out Spencer. Obviously, they need his vote too. We don't know what would have happened if, Spencer and Kelly Wigglesworth flip positions on reward. There's no way of knowing, but that might have something to do with it.
Yeah. And then he goes on to say, you guys called the Wigglesworth vote. We did say somebody useless to the story was gonna go home this week, and then we both backed out on it once we did our power rankings, and then it comes true.
Crap, where did we have Kelly in our power rankings?
I had her at 7. You had her at 6.
Oh man, I was on such a hot streak beating you.
You were.
And now Steven is actually in a good spot with this advantage, and he's got a 10 confessional night. My time where you had Steven so low. That might be short-lived now.
Yeah. Now, Esco again, he's got a bunch here, so I'll just keep going through them. Do you think the 3 amigos flip against the 3 witches?
Hey, they could, but like you said, Kimmy, Tasha, Keith, Joe, they might be pissed at the 3 amigos. And let's not call them the 3 amigos just because they need a new nickname. The witches one is nice. A lot of people were calling them the 3 amigos before this episode, but when Survivor puts a hashtag, that's the official alliance name. Is the witches or the 3 witches? Right, comes from Kimmy. She is the episode title and the hashtag tonight. That seems to be a trend. I don't know what to call. I don't know what to call Spencer, Steven, and Jeremy. I mean, it's such a powerful alliance. Maybe like the Power Bros or something. I mean, these are 3 strong, big players.
It's threatening. This is probably one of the most threatening alliances that could really go to the end.
Hey, how about we'll throw it out? Hashtag Power Bros. If anyone wants to tweet that and it catches on, then you saw it here first. I don't know what else to call them.
I have no idea. I don't even know if that's a good name, but whatever. We'll go with it.
I don't think it is, but what else are we going to call them? We need to refer to them as something. So good job bringing whoever tweeted that Esco or whatever.
Yeah. And then he says they definitely need to change up the challenges a little, add a puzzle or something. I agree, but I also think that with this many people, it's a little bit hard to have everybody at their own stations and stuff like that. They have to do their own stations and everything. It's hard to really spread them out and have them run around and do stuff.
Yeah, like the net challenge where you cross the bouncy net to go answer trivia after a story. You can't do that with 11 people. It would not work out. So that's a good point, Phil. They are as numbers get lower, they're going to change these challenges.
I think it's going to start to change up next week. I think we'll start to see it then. He says, thanks for recommending the Heroes vs. Villain Ponderosa videos. I'm telling you guys, those are the best ones. Abby Maria talking strategy impressed him. And then the last one he says, do you think that once Joe loses immunity, everyone will vote for him, regardless of alliances, all the votes for Joe? That would be funny.
I think as it stands now, yes. But if he can we said this, maybe he wins 1 week and then really get something solidified where he can kind of lose the next week. But as of now, he's got to keep winning.
Yeah, as of right now. But I agree with you. He could definitely turn this on its head if he really needed to. Caitlin, did this vote benefit Jeremy and Spencer in any way? Will they be able to rekindle trust with Kimmy, Joe, Tasha, and Keith? See, that's my biggest problem with the move for Jeremy and Spencer. I don't think it was too harmful for Spencer, but Jeremy, man, he had a lot of good relationships with these people. He's going to have to do some explaining.
Yeah, but what if he doesn't? What if people are like, it's season 31, and people vote in voting blocks now. I guess this is how the game's played. I totally understand it. Is there any chance they're like, all right, I hear you. She was a big threat. Let's work on getting these witches out this week. Any chance of that happening?
I think Kimmy and Keith might be like that. I don't think Tasha and Joe will be like that. I think Tasha and Joe understand the game enough where this is going to bother them a little bit. I think Joe's going to be like, well, if he gets rid of that threat to
I
win the
think
game, I want to
Kimmy.
get rid of
I think
it.
Kimmy would be bothered. I think Keith might be like, oh, okay, and Tasha's kind of new school. She might vibe with it a little more.
Yeah. I don't know. Caitlin, again, last week I didn't think Joe had a shot at an immunity run to the end. This week I think it's very possible. I mean, he just won a challenge that a 6'3" muscular man has no business winning. He really did.
Yeah, but we still have to remember there are 7 more challenges unless they double up on one. There's still 7 more, and he's not going to win 7 more in a row. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, man, you heard it here first. In case he does, Giovanni Oriana shouldn't had Steven gotten rid of Jeremy and recruited Spencer and Sierra, Abby, and Wentworth to help him. You know, that would have been the huge move, but I think Jeremy and Steven are the tightest pair out there right now, other than Sierra and Kelly Wentworth.
Yeah, I know. That's Steven's number one ally. They trust – I mean, even Jeremy was saying tonight, Steven has all these crazy ideas trying to make big moves, but I trust Steven a lot. Like, he always comes to Jeremy with these ideas. He doesn't go behind Jeremy's back ever. So I think they have a good amount of trust established.
Yeah. Giovanni Oriana, again, what is more powerful, the idol and extra vote or the vote stealer? Vote stealer, I think 100%. We'll see how it plays out, but I think that's the most powerful thing other than the Tyler Perry idol.
Yeah, especially as numbers decrease. I think a vote steal at 13 probably isn't going to do you all that much good, especially if it's like, 9 people or 10 people voting against 3 people or something like that. But if right now we're down to 10. A vote steal is huge. I mean, you pick someone, they don't get to vote, you get to vote for them. Like, that is insane.
That's insane.
And even last season, I argued that an extra vote is more powerful than idol. Just because an extra vote, it's being cast. And an idol is you're always taking a huge risk with an idol. And I know you are too with an extra vote, but the vote's going to count unless there is someone plays an idol. I don't know. It's hard to say. The vote stealer, though, is extremely powerful.
Yeah. And then Giovanni Oriano, again, with 2 idols, do you think Jeremy could do what Parvati did in Heroes versus Villains? I don't think he's ever going to be in a position to do that. I don't think that him, Spencer, and Steven are going to be in the bottom 3. I think that he's still going to be okay. Yeah,
and I think if Jeremy's like, oh, my alliance is screwed, he's going to play one for himself. That's what he's going to do. He's not going to pull the 3 amigos thing like Malcolm and like, oh, here, we're safe for 1 vote. He's going to say, oh, 1 for me this week and then 1 for me next week.
Yeah, Jeremy's out there to win for himself and for his family. He's not out there to be entertaining. He's older and wiser than Malcolm. Mel, do you think after tonight's vote, Sierra and Wentworth are in good positions to make it further? Will Steven keep voting with them? I think one of them is going to make it very far, and the other one's probably going to have a short-lived time here. I think one of them is going to be able to navigate this a little bit better because once one of them goes, the other one is just a number. And in this type of season, it seems like they're more willing to make big moves than just vote out the easy target.
Yeah, that's true. I think, honestly, it can go anywhere from here. You have a group of 3. You have a group of 3, a group of 3, and a group of 4, and you could make a case that they're kind of just in like a triangle. Like, they're not together at all. Just 3 separate alliances. Vote. The 4 could vote with one of the 3. The 2-3 could join together, or they could, maybe they'll dissolve. Maybe there'll be new groups of 3 and 4.
Yeah. And I think Steven could vote with them again, but at the same time, he could get rid of one of them next week and then vote with the other one the week after. I mean, this is going to be a pretty wild season, I think. Mel, do you think Jeremy would ever use one of his idols to save someone in his alliance? I don't think so.
He could if it's like, you don't have to save Spencer or Steven. Yeah, it'd have to be, you'd have to save a Keith. You'd have to save a Kimmy, someone that is loyal and that's going to vote with you, and someone that can't win the game. You're not giving Spencer an extra shot. You're not giving Steven an extra shot. They're too dangerous of players. And yeah, they might be in your alliance, but at the end of the day, they're threats to win, and you got to beat them.
Yeah. All right, and then we got a bunch here from James Beam, which is, I think, behind me on the counter. I have seen every Survivor episode ever and can't recall the producers taking viewers to Tribal without at least 2 options to go home. Kept waiting for a twist at Tribal, and when Kelly went home, I was shocked. Can you think of another time this ever happened? I mean, they tried to play up Wentworth as the other option, but he's thinking along the same lines as you and me. It had to be Wigglesworth.
Yeah, wait, he's saying they've always played up 2, now they only played up 1?
Yeah, I think he's saying the only one that reasonably could go home tonight was Kelly Wigglesworth.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I wasn't shocked at all. Phil said it perfectly. If the person who got 9 votes last week and was on the bottom went home, we would have been floored.
Yeah, exactly. James Beam, again, like I said, there's a bunch. Absolutely shocked just how well Abby did the immunity challenge. She lasted a very long time, and it clearly wasn't a fluke. Yeah, I mean, I was pretty shocked too. Her hip.
I mean, but you said that coming in. I mean, the smaller women really do well in those type of challenges.
Once it got to the 1 foot thing, that comes down to how strong is your hip, and clearly Joe he probably does leg day a lot, so he's going to have stronger hip flexors than Abby Maria, and that's why Abby ends up getting a cramp and falling off the damn thing. James Beam, not sure if you saw it, but Joe did tip off Wentworth. Sierra confirmed it on Twitter. He should have been LVP last week for sure. We actually did already count Joe as LVP for last week, so that's done. Wiggles' exit interview this week confirmed their complete indifference to playing the game. She has no business playing Survivor again. She has no clue and no desire to play the modern game. Awful television. Now, I don't know where he read her exit interview already. Or does he mean
what was her last words? Or, her last words.
Oh, that's what he meant. Oh, yeah, her last words are pretty much like, everybody else can have it. I don't even care. So I totally get it. Yeah. She didn't have a business being on this season. Whoever called her a mascot at the beginning of the year, they were completely 100% right. And then the mascot got boring. The mascots get annoying. And they just get to the point where it's like, why are they still at this sporting event? And that's pretty much what Kelly Wigglesworth was this season. Let's see. Jimmy O'Connor, their argument for the Witches being MVP, sure, they couldn't be saved without Steven, but they now have options. Now, it's got to be Steven. I will be shocked if one of those girls goes home next week in the first hour. I don't know if I'd be shocked. I think that's the time that might be the predictable boot where one of them goes home.
I think we shouldn't look into anything at all that these 2 episodes are the 2 together. I think it's 100% because it's Thanksgiving and another show got canceled. Or not canceled, but they're like, okay, well, look, we can't show this because too many people are watching. So I was like, all right, we'll take that hour. And it was going to be these 2 no matter what.
Yeah. James Beam, MVP. Steven orchestrated Wiggles' boot and won a very powerful advantage using his physical prowess of all things. Very true. Tom Eisenberg, you still think Joe is closing in on the top 5. You still don't think Joe is closing in on the top 5 immunity challenge beasts. No, Joe's in there.
Oh, he is. He's top 5. The question we've been dealing with all season, is he better than Ozzy? And
it's getting there.
We got to wait till he goes home and just kind of evaluate his whole body of work.
Yeah. And then last Twitter comment, a great last Twitter comment here. Josh says we should call that alliance the Juice Crew. I don't know why the Juice Crew, because Spencer and Steven are not very buff. Power Bros just means they're power players. I just imagine like Spencer and Steven juicing, and it's freaking making me crack up a little bit here.
The Juice Crew? Yeah, I mean,
the Juice
Crew would have been Joe, Jeremy, and Savage. That would have been the Juice Crew. These are the Power Bros.
That's funny. Juice Crew is funny. It just sounds so ridiculous. All right, let's get into YouTube.
On original buy-in, he needed that. On original buy-on with Savage, Jeremy, and Joe. That's the Juice Crew.
That's the Juice Crew. That's true.
Let's get into YouTube here.
Yeah.
Whoa. We have Zach Valentine. Who do you think owns the 3 jurors' votes so far? That's a tough one because we really don't know who is in. We'd have to know the matchup at Tribal. I
think I could do this real quick.
Cass is going to go Sierra, Wentworth, or Abby if they make it to the final 3. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's pretty Savage is going to go Joe or Jeremy if they make it to the final 3. And, you can take on Kelly Wigglesworth.
I think Kelly Wigglesworth would go Joe or probably Jeremy. I think those are the 2 that she would go.
She spent a lot of time with Spencer too. Obviously, we didn't see them bond that much, but they were on a tribe together. That might have, some merit. I don't know.
You already did the Edwin Hernandez one here, right?
Yeah. Edwin Hernandez was the one who said maybe Joe wins all of them, and that's what Savage was referring to when saying, something happened for the first time in Survivor history. He said, can you rank the contestants based on their edit? I think Jeremy has to be number 1. We're going to get into that in the power rankings. Maybe we'll do kind of a quasi ranking where we do our power rankings and then say, look, this is where they are in terms of chance to win. But we do that a lot anyway.
I think we should do that because now we're halfway through. So I think this is a good time to do it and actually rank who we think like the number 1 person is. So we'll do that on the power rankings.
We did it at 15. Yeah, we did it at 15, and now we'll do it at 10. That makes sense.
Yeah. And then we'll do it at the finale. So that makes perfect sense. Okay. Dan Football 20, I asked a few weeks ago if you thought Joe was the best challenge competitor ever, and I think the answer is now without a doubt yes. He doesn't just win immunities, he also dominates reward challenges, and it's rare to see his tribe lose pre-merge. I mean, it's still close. It's true. I mean, it's hard to argue it. It's just, man, it's the whole recency bias, and you have to go back and watch Ozzy and just put it against Joe. And I mean, the two of them, they need to have like a duel, just go. I feel like, what it is with Joe and Ozzy? They both have like the same mentality of they just like don't want to lose, and they'll just go through as much pain as they have to not lose. Because like that's what I saw from Joe tonight, and I've seen Ozzy do it with like just the most random challenges. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I still need to see just a little bit more from Joe to take down Ozzy. I mean, Ozzy was good in like 3 seasons.
Yeah. Dan Football 20. I think this was a great Steven episode as far as TV goes, and he looked good finally, but this is what will be his downfall. He made a debatably big move by aligning with the Hocus Pocus sisters, but in doing so gave them power and basically betrayed Kimmy and Tasha Trust in a way. With his number 1 ally having 2 idols, him getting an advantage and playing this aggressive way to build a resume, I believe he is not long for the game. It's interesting because everybody else thinks he is very long for the game.
I don't know. I think the advantage is huge. And yeah, I don't know. Do you think people are going to immediately know this was Steven's move? I mean, Spencer, Jeremy, and Steven all flipped. So I don't think anyone is getting one big target for this being a resume builder, at least not yet.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Tony S., MVP 1, Steven, MVP 2, Sierra. No real LVP tonight. Fishbach had a big night tonight. Hard not to give it to him. Tough choice between Sierra and Jeremy. However, Sierra played Steven perfectly to keep the vote off her alliance. Jeremy played second fiddle to Steven in the strategy talk and ended up making a move that clearly wasn't entirely sure about. Man,
yeah, what is this? What is this? Sierra played Steven like a fiddle. That is not what happened. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, Steven earlier this episode, Jeremy was the next best, and then Sierra was probably third best. I just have a problem giving 2 MVPs just because there's not 2 MVPs.
No,
you're not the most.
Yeah, no, we're not. It's going to Steven. That's been decided. He did say no LVP. I guess we can touch on this briefly. Who would be the LVP of this episode? I really don't know. It's a good point he brings up. Maybe you give it to someone like Tasha, like who just who's too trusting of her alliance. I don't know. It's hard to say that. Maybe to Spencer for jumping off immunity and not getting the advantage, like jumping off too late, wearing a shirt.
That's still a pretty good move.
No, I know.
We have given it to no one earlier in the season, so maybe we just do it again.
Yeah, it's just always good. I mean, did no one really play badly?
No one really played badly. No one's making mistakes this season. People are making big moves. That's the difference between this season and a lot of other seasons.
Hey, sounds good to me. If we, if something comes to our minds, we can discuss it in the Power Rankings podcast on Sunday.
That's fine. Wayne Dog. Oh, wait, no, never mind. Tony S., again, getting back to Savage's comment on CBS.com about something happening that's never happened before. Maybe it's not a tie at the final vote, but Joe breaks the record for most individual immunities. He is at 3 and only needs 2 more to tie, and most days immune from the vote. He tied Marcus from Gabon tonight and will break it the next day. Still don't think Joe wins 10 immunities in a row to get to the end, and he is definitely gone the first time he loses. I do believe he is more than capable of winning 3 more, though, to get to 6. And it's exactly the type of thing that Savage would get excited about. That's true. Savage.
That is true. There's so much talk about Joe and his MVP streak. I mean, or his MVP, his immunity idol or challenge streak. I don't really care that much, honestly, because it's almost like Joe's gonna win every week. Now everyone else has to play. No one can hide. Just Joe will lose 1 point, he'll go home, but you have to be ready to go every single tribal for all these other players. So I kind of like that he's winning. I mean, it'd be fun to see him lose one.
I was rooting for him to win
shake
tonight.
things up. Yeah, you got to root because then more craziness happens because it's going to be an obvious boo when he goes. And if they're doubling up on Thanksgiving or the Wednesday before, it could be Joe going home in the first hour.
Yeah,
next week.
True. All right, Ween Dog 2. Do you think Steven will stick with the 3 girls? Man, I have no idea.
We already talked about this a good amount, and we're going to get into all the alliance and prediction stuff for next week. We do have a lot of comments, so let's move on
here. Son of Nuo, how long can Jeremy survive? The idol can't be used after Final 5, right? There's 10 left now, so he's saved at least 2 votes, plus 1 other safe vote if and when Joe loses immunity, since everyone will vote Joe. Factor in that Jeremy has a decent chance of winning immunity once in those final 5. In those 5, there may only be 1 vote.
And his best ally has the vote stealer, his number 1 ally.
Yeah. So Kenny not screwed up. I don't think Jeremy's in a bad position at all. I mean, I think that this big move tonight might not have been in his best interest, but I think Jeremy can easily win this game. I don't think he's really in trouble to go in the next 2 or 3 votes. Granted, he could because the season's a little crazy, but I don't think he's really in that much trouble. I'm not going to put him at the bottom of my power rankings next week. He's got 2 damn idols.
Yeah, no, I think he's good for a while now.
Yeah. Dylan Peddle, one of the biggest shocks this season when Sierra said that Wigglesworth will win if she gets to the end. Is there any secret scenes that show her doing stuff, as I never saw her having any chance of winning this game, and I don't see how her being from season 1 will ensure her the sole survivor spot. That was something that they said, was that, well, she has that whole season 1 thing. Do you think that would be the only reason, or was she actually playing a pretty good game?
I bet she was playing a pretty good game, but that obviously helps to come in and say, look, I was on the very first season. I had a target on my back. I had to do everything. I mean, you can obviously build a narrative around that, and sure. I don't think that was the only reason, but it definitely helps.
Yeah.
And I just want to mention here, Dylan Peddle is not a subscriber. At least it doesn't show up on our subscriber list. And we might have to start doing this. We're getting so many comments. We do like reading them all. But maybe if you want your comment read, you have to be a subscriber. Just because we get so many now.
You listen to us every week. Why can't you subscribe? We're at 519. Make it 5.
Yeah, so if Dylan if you're listening and he has another comment, we'll read it because we can't enforce these rules before people know them. But we're getting so many comments. We love the comments, but yeah, how about you subscribe and we'll read your comment? It'll be a trade-off.
That's pretty cool.
There we go.
I mean, we're getting greedy with the comments, guys. We keep getting more. We want to hit 1,000 now. We're getting greedy.
Oh, you mean subscribers?
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, we don't want 1,000 comments.
See, here's 5 White Guys. He's been commenting all season. Just became a subscriber like a week or a week and a half ago. So thank you for subscribing. Steven is playing a Tony game right now with his open aggressiveness, and it might be the gameplay that is needed in today's Survivor. I think that's a pretty good point. Someone already brought up Jeremy being like Tony. A lot of Tony comparisons coming out. That was you. Good comparison there, Phil. Yeah, I think play aggressive is people respect the hell out of it. Like not being shady, kind of owning what you're saying. Sierra's doing a great job of that, saying, look, I'm on a reward. This is where we strategize. We're on Survivor. People know what this game is about now, so I think that's where that kind of aggressiveness stems from.
Yeah. Anthony Beam, the only thing Wiggles has going for her was that she's from season 1. I mean, that's what we got from the edit. It seemed like there was more going on out on that show, though. And then 5 White Guys, I want to answer this one. Phil, you have to be giving Joe some more props. I know your strong opinion on Ozzy, but every week, no matter what challenge is thrown out there, Joe has to be the odds-on favorite. And I don't understand how calling somebody the second-best challenge competitor in Survivor history behind one of the all-time most athletic human beings to ever grace the earth is not giving enough props. I'm sorry. I haven't called him the best.
I'm with you, man.
But calling him the second best, I don't understand how that's not giving enough props. Being the second best is awesome. We're the second best Survivor podcast. It's pretty cool.
I hope we are.
I'm just saying,
Ozzy went to, Redemption Island on purpose in South Pacific because he was so confident. I don't know if Joe would do that, But look, again, let's wait till the season's over and then we'll talk. It's like the college football rankings. You got to see the complete body of work and then kind of pick who's going to be in the playoff. By the time Joe goes home, we will probably know, where, at least I'll have a definite opinion on who's better, Joe or Ozzy.
Yeah, exactly. Dylan Peddle, I don't see how there was any way the green team could have won the reward challenge when the purple team had so many challenge beasts and people who are really good at puzzles. I don't know, man. I think the green team was fine. The only weak one they had was Kimmy, and God, they shouldn't have performed as badly as they did. That was atrocious.
Yeah.
I'm going to skip that comment because we've talked a lot about Joe there. Anthony Beam, I'm proud of Abby for lasting so long in that challenge. Would have been so funny if she outlasted Joe. That would have been funny. She beats Joe. Joe goes home because he loses immunity to Abby.
Right. And what would have made it even more funny is that she was the one not picked for the reward team, and then she goes and wins individual immunity.
That's true. Good point. Anthony Beam, do you think Jeremy will successfully play one of his idols at some point? I don't know. I don't know if he's ever going to play one.
I think he is. There's too many people left for him not to play one successfully, especially if he gets into a situation where, he is a huge threat, and people know he's a huge threat. Someone who was Sierra who said it to Tasha and the whole group at Reward. If Jeremy gets to the end, he will beat you in the end. That is for damn sure. So people are aware that Jeremy is a big threat. He knows people are coming after him. It might get down to wow, it's 7 people left. It's 6-on-1 against Jeremy, or 5-on-2 against Jeremy and Spencer, or something like that, where he's got to play one. And people know he has it, but you still have to vote for him to make sure he plays it. Kind of like the Mike Idol in last season.
Yeah, exactly. 5 white guys. Spencer and Tasha are really taking backseat edits right now to the likes of Jeremy, Kelly Wentworth, Steven, Joe, and Sierra, and I feel that the Cagayan allure is being toned down by the play of the other players. Tonight Spencer took a big backseat. Last week he was a little in there. Tasha's taking a bigger.
Tasha's been taking a huge step back since the second tribe swap. Spencer, I thought, had a bigger episode tonight than he did last week. We didn't hear from Spencer at all last week, I don't think.
No, he got one confessional in both episodes.
Okay, well, at least he dove in the water for the advantage and got to talk about that a little bit. And then we saw him strategizing with Jeremy and Steven. So there was a little bit more of Spencer.
Yeah.
And the Cagayan allure, both these challenges tonight were from Cagayan.
That's true. And we got to hear all about the great redemption that Spencer and Tasha got in that first challenge. Thank God they're redeemed. Their lives are better.
Great.
5 white guys. There has to be another idol being thrown into play next week because they can't have Jeremy control all of the idols at large. But if there's another idol in play, then Jeremy could easily pick it up.
Exactly. You're not tossing in 3 idols at once. That's unless someone had already had one from Anchor, you're not going to just throw one in once someone just found the merge idol or the one that Kelly played.
Yeah. Tori Cosgrove, you guys talk about confessionals playing a factor to the winner. Well, Natalie White got 15 confessionals in her entire season and also got 108 in the same season. There's been 3 seasons, or 4 seasons, I guess you could say, where the winner was severely under-edited. It was Gabon, All-Stars, Heroes versus Villains, and Samoa. 4 out of 30.
I don't even think Gabon was
Everybody said Bob was very under-edited. I don't feel like he was either. I loved Bob.
I don't think he was. I think we got enough of Bob with his fake idols and his whole buff bow tie thing. Everyone loved Bob. He had a lot. When they had to rank the players, they ranked him very low, but he ended up being really good at challenges. He won immunities. Bob, I would not throw him in there. I would say it's Amber, Natalie, and Sandra. Yeah. But Sandra came on strong at the end.
Exactly. And if you're going to throw really another name out there as the 4th, I guess you could say Danny Boatwright. But otherwise, most of the winners, they're getting huge edits. They might not get as big of an edit. Like Tina didn't get as big of an edit as Colby, but Tina got a pretty damn big edit. So, it does play a factor in who wins. This next one, Will's already smiling about it, I think.
I already read it.
Yeah. I'm loving that. This is Proud Nurse. I'm loving this season. Where do you feel this season is ranked at this point in the game? P.S. Phil is the cutie. Sorry, Will.
I don't know why she's apologizing to me. I don't Phil is a cutie. Proud Nurse doesn't really like me that much, I don't think.
I don't know. She used to not. She's coming around.
Since the reunion, the Worlds Apart reunion. Yeah,
But we're glad you're still listening.
Right, we are glad.
This is good. This is very good. And thank you for saying I'm the cutie, because that totally knocks Will's self-esteem. You can see it hurting him right now.
Oh, no.
Yeah, exactly. Sierra E-Fan. Oh, wait. Yeah, so anyway, let's answer the damn question. Where do you feel the season's ranked at this point? How you feeling, Will?
I don't want to just shut the question down, but I think it's way too early. I mean, we still have 10 people left. We started with 20. We're halfway through. I mean, not episode-wise, but castaways-wise, we are halfway through. If it continues like this, it could be a top 5 season. The post-merge has been excellent so far.
Up until this point in the season, I would say this is on level with, like, Heroes vs. Villains and Micronesia at this. If you're looking just at how many people have gone in the game and how many people are left, I'd say it's up on par with them. And Micronesia just kept getting stronger, and Heroes vs. Villains got a little bit weaker. So we'll see where it goes here.
Yeah, it's on Heroes vs. Villains level yet at all, just because Heroes vs. Villains had such a good pre-merge. This pre-merge was a little, not that it was bad, because pre-merges can always be kind of a struggle to get through. It just didn't pack as much excitement as Heroes vs. Villains. So the post-merge is going to have to be phenomenal to make it a top 5 or top 3 season.
Exactly. To beat China or Amazon. Good luck. Sierra E-Fan 0717. Do you think Spencer, Steven, or Jeremy is going to stay with the 3 Amigas? By the way, I love you. That was to both of us. So, we're both.
I don't know. That could be to either.
Yeah. We just keep I know. I think that's to both of us. I'm reading.
Okay. Well,
but no, we've talked about that a lot. They could go either way. I really have no idea how this is going to play out next week. They could easily say, you know what, Sierra's too dangerous. Let's get rid of her. Wentworth's too dangerous. Let's get rid of her. Or they could say, you know what, let's get rid of this group of 4. Let's start picking them off.
And I think it's being set up for this that they wouldn't talk about this voting block thing so heavily if it didn't play out in the remainder of the season. I doubt that the 3 and 3 are going to get together, vote against the 4, and then that's it. Like those 6 are final 6. No way that happens. That's why they're talking about it so much. And by the way, Sierra E-Fan, when you say by the way, you don't need a Y at the end of by. It's just BY.
Yeah, okay.
And, you got to correct the grammar when you see it.
If you're going to take anything from Will here, he just said you don't need a Y at the end of by. He meant you don't need an E, so he can't even be a good teacher. Yeah, as he tries to be the grammar police, he messes up. That's what you get.
Well, grammar is different than spelling, I guess. That was it's the wrong use of. But then a good catch, Phil. See, I needed you to get involved. Finally.
Exactly. It's about time. 5 white guys. I really hope there are some power players in season 32 because following up this season is going to be extremely tough. I'm getting serious Heroes versus Villains into Nicaragua vibes from what's about to happen from this season into next season. I am so worried next season is going to suck. Like, suck. And not even be that bad just because this one's so strong.
We're going to be like, we're just going to stop podcasting next season. We're like, what are we watching?
Yeah. It's going to be hard, man. It's hard.
Half the characters don't want to win the game, like any other normal season survivor. Half the players can't win.
I mean, that's why it's impressive when you go back and look at the middle of Survivor's history, when it went China to fans versus favorites to Gabon. I mean, come on. Like that little stretch right there.
No, it was Tocantins.
Tocantins was after Gabon.
Then Tocantins, Samoa, Heroes vs. Villains.
Yeah.
I mean
that's
the whole stretch. Yeah.
That's insane. Like, that was one great season following up another. It's very hard for that to happen in this situation. I think next season is going to be a little bit of a letdown. I'm hoping it's not, but I think it is.
I heard it's a pretty crazy, wild season. So maybe it's fun too.
I heard people were getting seriously ill out there. So we'll see. Son of Nuo. Suppose Joe loses, then I'm just going to say suppose that Joe loses the next challenge and goes home. Then there's 9 players left, 3 sets of 3, which is Coven, Amigos, Jeremy, Steven, Spencer, others, Kimmy, Tasha, Keith. If you're Kelly and Sierra,
no, you can't call them Amigos. We have the 3 Amigos. They're in Survivor history. Okay. They need a new name. It's the Power Bros.
All right,
and also, why are you against the word posit? What's wrong with that?
Because I read it as suppose as soon as my eyes went to it, and then I didn't want to go back and say posit. But
posit's a good word though.
More importantly, if you're Kelly Wentworth and Sierra at that point, you have to decide to flip and play with Kimmy, Tasha, and Keith, right? I think yes, because I think Jeremy, Steven, and Spencer are way too dangerous to win the game. I think Kimmy, Tasha, and Keith, not so much.
Well, Tasha is. It's just like it's her edit. We have to look at this. The players aren't looking at edits. If you're there now, you're looking at Tasha as a pretty strong player. People probably think Keith is a threat because he's so liked by everyone. Everyone loves Keith. So it's hard to really say what's good and what's bad. And we mentioned this in regards to the move tonight to get rid of Kelly Wigglesworth. We don't know if that was like a big move or not, because from what we saw, it was kind of you getting rid of a nobody.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. This doesn't seem like it was super intense, like they're playing it up. Five white guys, you're right about giving Joe credit, and Ozzy deserves a lot as well. So I think you may just have blinders on because Joe is dominating right now. I mean, Joe is dominating. There's no denying it.
Yeah, we gotta, okay. All Ozzy Joe questions like in comments. Because we gotta in the future. We're gonna address it at the end of the season. We'll do a whole podcast on it. We'll do Joe versus Ozzy the podcast.
Piece,
I'll take one side. Phil, you'll take another side, and we'll just argue about it like we love to do. And then you guys can vote who won the debate, and then who is the strongest. There'll be two different things.
We could do it. Challenge threat podcast in the offseason. Like that would be super easy to do. Let's see here. What is that? Jim Beam, possible name, the Triple Threat Alliance. No way. Power Bros, way better. Power Bros all day, every day. Just sounds right. Or Juice Crew, just because that's one of the funniest nicknames that Steven could ever be a. Somebody has to tell Steven that somebody wants him to be in an alliance nicknamed the Juice Crew. And I just want to see Steven's reaction to that.
Well, the more we build up the Juice Crew, the less the Power Bros can take off. So I'd appreciate it if you would, enough with the Juice Crew, Phil.
I'm just saying, because it would be like Jeremy juicing with steroids, Spencer juicing with steroids, and then Steven drinking a juicy cup. Like that's what it would be like. Because there's no way he fits in with the Juice Crew.
That'd be funny. That would be actually really funny.
That would.
Someone wants to make that photo.
Or something.
Right. Okay. We have a Proud Nurse. Yes, I continue to listen, though I do disagree with almost everything Will says. I am kidding. Sorta. Yeah.
We've had these conversations, Proud Nurse, where Will be like, man, I don't think Proud Nurse.
Whoever I put for MVP, Proud Nurse will never vote for. I mean, that's
it's really funny.
It's guaranteed.
You can't even Steven this week because you said it. It's true.
Yeah. So who are you going to vote for, Proud Nurse? Who's it going to be?
Yeah.
I think that's all the comments we have.
That's it.
A lot to talk about, man. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Comment your comments for our prediction episode. We're going to do that Sunday night. And if anybody wants to help us make a banner for our channel, I tried putting one together. It's way trickier than you'd think because Google is pretty crazy. If anyone knows graphics or who made our logo, Phil, do you remember the name? We should probably know the name.
Let me see.
It was someone on Twitter.
It was somebody on Twitter.
But if anybody, wants to, help out with graphic design, I don't know anything about that. We want some good channel art. We like the logo. So yeah, I think that's it. Phil, you got anything else? We're going to update the prop bet game in the prediction and power rankings episode.
If anybody
we did MVP, LVP.
Yeah, if anybody can give a good reason at all for an LVP, let us know, because right now we really don't have one.
That's a good point. So we'll take your comments. And I don't know about the subscriber thing, comments. Depends on how many we get. Because if we start getting 50 comments, 100 comments per episode, we got to kind of choose which ones to read and which ones not to. And we want to give our subscribers love. They deserve it. So thanks for watching. We will see you Sunday.
Wait, real quick. John Poteet made our thing. Give the credit where the credit's due. John Poteet made our
John Poteet. The logo, yeah. Let's get him back. And let's get to work.
Yeah.
All right, we will see. We'll see you guys Sunday.